Hey guys, it's Miss Davis here, and I'm going to go ahead and start telling you about what our next standard in math is going to be. I'm doing this while buses are being called, so I apologize if you hear the bus numbers called over the loudspeaker. It's in the afternoon.
Okay, last call for bus 158, last call for 404. Again, last call for 158 and 404.
Just like that. If that happens at any point in time, I'm just going to stop talking, let Miss Garrett announce, and then I'll continue again, okay? So we are starting to talk about fractions as division. This week you guys have done total introductory activities that go with fraction. You should know at this point that, and I'll turn it over this way. Actually, I'll just carry it over here with me. The top number of a fraction is called the numerator. The bottom number is called the denominator. You should know that a mixed number looks like that. You have your whole number, and then you have your fractional part, and then your improper fraction looks like that. Your numerator is always bigger than your denominator on those fractions. When we talk about fractions as division, we're really going to be talking about how do we set up a fraction as a division problem, and what does that look like in a word problem. So for starters, your top number of your fraction can also be known as the parts of a division problem. If I have that improper fraction 10/7, this is my numerator, but it's also my dividend. And this is my denominator, but it's also my divisor. The fraction bar is just a division sign, okay? So this fraction bar here is the same thing as showing a division sign there. Now, I can take this fraction and write it as a division problem. My dividend, I would write it here, or I could write it inside my house.
Yeah, bus 73, if you'll make your way to the bus over here at this time, bus 73 riders.
So I could also write my division problem inside my house. First number goes inside my house, second number goes on the outside. The fraction 10/7 can be written as 10 divided by 7, or 10 inside my division house, 7 on the outside. Okay? Now, you guys can also try this with the fraction 12/8. I can write 12/8 as 12 divided by 8. I could also write 12/8 like this. These are all examples of how you can write a fraction as a division problem. You may want to make sure that you're recording these things in your math notebook. That way you have them for future reference. Okay? The word problems that you are going to see this year are going to look something like what's up on my anchor chart here in orange. So in orange it says, after soccer practice, 4 girls shared 3 bottles of water. How much water did each girl get? Well, anytime that I'm talking about fractions as division, I have to make sure the amount that is shared.
Last call for bus 73. Last call for bus 73 riders.
The amount that is shared is what goes on top. The denominator is going to represent who or where the shared item is going to. In this problem up here, I have 4 girls who are sharing 3 bottles of water. The part that's being shared is the 3 bottles of water. Who or where it's going to is 4. Therefore, they would each get 3/4 bottles of water. Now, we also have this word problem here, which says the boys' basketball team is having a celebration at the end of the week. There are 5 boys on the team, and they have ordered 7 pizzas to share. What amount of pizza will each boy get? So again, we're looking at the amount being shared and who it's going to. Well, I have 7 pizzas to share, so 7 is the amount that goes on top, and it's going to the 5 boys. So I have the fraction 7/5. It's an improper fraction, so I can set it up as a division problem. Now, the reason why you see the cowboy horse and the horse is because the way that I like to remember which number goes inside of my division house is you have your cowboy as your top number, your horse as your bottom number. So my cowboy goes inside the house to get a drink of water. The horse has to stay on the outside of the house to get his drink of water. 5 can go into 7 one time. I know that 1 times 5 is 5. 7 minus 5 is 2. We have the numerator as 2. My denominator stays the same, so it keeps being a 5. And I have my mixed number as my final answer, which is 1 2/5. Now, we're going to do a couple more practice problems here in just a second. My face just isn't going to be this big on the screen. Continuing on with our fractions as division problems, we're going to take a look at these 4, and same thing still applies. If the announcement goes off, I'm going to pause it until it's over, and then I'll restart it. So number 1 says 4 people work together to pick some apples. They each pick the same amount. If they pick 10 pounds of apples in all, how many pounds does each person pick? I'm going to write on here, so I have it, shared, and bear with me, give me a minute, it takes me a minute to write it out on the computer, over who. If you write this out for every problem that's like this, chances are you're going to get it right 90% of the time. I would almost say 99% of the time. In this problem, what is it that's being shared? So if you read this problem, what am I sharing? If you said that I'm sharing 10 pounds of apples, then you're correct. That is the amount that's being shared. And that 10 pounds of apples is being shared between who or what? It's being shared between the 4 people here. So that means that the denominator would be 4. Based on this fraction here, my correct answer would be C. This fraction is 10/4. I can also take this fraction and solve it as a division problem. So I can set it up inside of a box.
And also need bus 260.
I can set up my box just like I've done here. And all I have to do is ask myself, how many times can 4 go into 1? Well, you should know that that's 0. 0 times 4 is 0. 1 minus 0 is 1. And I pick that 1 up and take it over to the 0. How many times can 4 go into 10? Well, 4 can go into 10 2 times. I know that because 2 times 4 is 8. 10 minus 8 is 2. Now, here's where it gets tricky. I can actually make a mixed number from this division problem. And I can do that by making this my numerator because it's my leftover, it's my remainder. So this becomes my numerator, and my denominator stays the same, which is 4. So they actually picked 2 2/4 pounds each of apples. The next problem, 8 people will share 5 pounds of rice. What is each person's share in pounds? And as you can see, I've already written my shared over who. So what is being shared from this problem? I'm sharing 5 pounds of rice. So that's what's being shared. Who is that 5 pounds of rice going to? It's going to 8 people. So that would be the who. Therefore, the answer to this question would be 5/8 pounds. Next question says, which expression represents 4/7? So that fraction is 4/7. If you remember correctly, we would write that as 4 divided by 7. So which problem says exactly what I've written there? 4 divided by 7. Answer choice A is correct.
Thank you, Robin.
The last problem that we have says, yesterday, Lydia, Levi, and Lena shared 4 pounds of candy. How much candy did each child receive?
Also need those two.
Again, I've written my shared over who down here. What is it in the problem that's being shared? Well, they're sharing 4 pounds of candy. And who is the 4 pounds of candy going to? Well, it's going to Levi, Lydia, and Lena. How many people is that? Well, that's 3 people. So my shared amount is 4. My who is 3. So therefore, my correct answer here is 4/3. Now remember, we don't expect you to get this all today. Okay, this is just the first day of it. We are going to continue to practice this skill on into next week. Okay, so please do not panic if you don't get it. There will be more videos next week that you will watch to help you better understand this.